Hello friends, welcome to Knowledge Galaxy to rediscover the basics with Mayank Tiwari, a premier coaching and training channel dedicated to metallurgy studies and consultancy. Established to cater the needs of students, degree, diploma and AM/IIM metallurgy, competitive and recruitment exams for GATE, SAIL and various other government and private sector companies, metallurgical industries, working and aspiring professionals and whosoever seeking knowledge and information about various subjects and topics of metallurgy, ferroalloys, operational process optimization, productivity improvement analysis, etc. To impart practical industrial knowledge as per your specific requirements via tailor-made training sessions for your colleagues, employees and students, please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +919907144101 for scheduling and organizing the sessions at your place or via video conferencing. My dear friends, nowadays technology has improved so much that actual physical distance doesn't matter anymore. You can get all your doubts cleared by sitting at your home, at your comfort zone, just by contacting me over WhatsApp or phone, so that for your benefit, please do contact me for any of your doubts. My dear friends, I have made so many videos which are available on my YouTube channel. So I request you to visit my channel regularly and repeatedly and watch all the videos available there, so that you can gain maximum knowledge about the subject and topics, and also request you to watch all my videos from start to finish, so that you can gain the maximum and complete knowledge about the topic. My dear friends, as you know that training is costly, but not to train is still costlier. And when you are not having complete knowledge or don't get any information about the topic which you need to know, so you can contact me. If you don't find anyone who can help you to clear your doubts, you do contact me as soon as possible. And so right now in this video I am discussing about In this video, I am going to present, as always, yet another very important fundamental technical aspect of production of silicon-based alloys. This particular technical fundamental is very important from the process understanding point of view, and the title of this presentation is the importance of cold and cool properties in the production of high silicon alloys. This particular high silicon alloys defines all types of silicon based alloys, and how the properties of cold and cool, which are the main reductants used in the production of silicon based alloys, affect the production process and overall economics of the production operation, defines and describes in detail. Before proceeding to this video, I would like to request you, all of you, to go through the messages given in the next video and next slide and observe them.
have seen and observed in the video that no water can be filled in the pot if the pot is not acceptive, and also if the pot is already filled. The water can only be filled when there is some space in the pot. So my dear friends, I request you to keep your minds open for receiving the information, so that you can receive the information correctly and gain the knowledge. But if you feel that you are already having much knowledge or more knowledge, or if you are not receptive towards receiving the new knowledge or information, you cannot gain anything. So for gaining new knowledge and information, please keep your mind open and be receptive for the new knowledges always. My dear friends, I am having one of very important announcement for you all. The information which I want to share is that if you want to advertise your products, services, company or anything else on my channel, then please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +919907144101 for putting your advertisements in my forthcoming videos. My dear friends, as you all are aware that advertising in the YouTube channels is very common and very fruitful method of approaching to the mass volume of viewers. So you can contact me for putting your advertisements in my forthcoming videos. I hope my messages in the previous slides are very much clear to you all, and you all will definitely follow the messages given in the previous slides. So now let's start the present presentation with the synopsis. In this synopsis, I will briefly describe the details of this whole presentation in a short form, and the details will follow in the coming slides. So let's start. In the production of high silicon alloys, carbonaceous materials like coal, coke, charcoal and wood chips are utilized as reducing agents. Primarily based on historical prices of charcoal compared to fossil reduction materials, the ferroalloy industry has mostly been using coal and coke, that is char, as carbon source. The most important role of the carbonaceous material is to react with the SiO gas, that is silicon oxide gas, to produce SiC, that is silicon carbide. The ability of the reduction materials to bind SiO gas can be measured, and the value is recognized as the reactivity of the carbon source. This reactivity is one of the most important parameters in the smelting process in order to obtain a high yield of the metal. The reactivity of the carbon materials is directly correlated to the material properties. It is known that the rank of the coal influences the SiO reactivity, where low rank is beneficial. Coals of the same rank have, however, proven to have varying reactivity. In order to investigate how the microconstituents of coal influence the reactivity towards SiO gas, 3 single seam unwashed coals of different origin which fulfill the requirements of the ferroalloy producers have been chosen. As the structure in the carbonized product is a function of petrographic constitution and carbonization parameters, the coals have been separated into different density fractions. The various density fractions of the same coals proved to have significantly different petrographic compositions. The coals were carbonized according to a procedure simulating the conditions the coals experience when charged into an industrial furnace. Chemical, physical and petrographical properties of both the coals and the resultant charge have been thoroughly examined and correlated towards the SiO reactivity. So now the synopsis completed, and now let's have the introduction first. The most economically feasible way to produce ferrosilicon and silicon as commodity materials is still by carbothermic reduction of quartz in an electric submerged arc furnace. The chemical reactions in the production are complex, but the overall reaction can be expressed in an idealized form as SiO2 solid plus 2C solid. This gives Si liquid plus 2Co gas. This is the equation number 1. According to Ski et al., the resources of silicon in the form of quartz and silicates are almost unlimited, as the Earth's crust consists of about 28% silicon. The resources of reduction materials are more limited. The most common reduction materials used are coal, coke or char, wood chips, and biocarbon in the form of charcoal. The specification of the product purity limits the number of coal types that can be used for the ferroalloy production. In addition, the process requires coals of a certain reactivity. According to Weidel, the cost of reduction materials constitutes about 35 to 40% of the total materials and energy cost in the production of respectively 75% ferrosilicon and silicon. In this respect, it is essential to gain further insight into the characteristics of the reduction materials and their behavior in the furnace. So now let us discuss about the reactivity of carbon materials. The term reactivity is used to describe a critical property or behavior during reaction or conversion in a chemical or a metallurgical process. In the case of production of silicon and ferrosilicon, the reactivity of the reduction materials can be categorized by the ability carbon has to react with SiO according to the reaction SiO G plus 2C solid. This gives SiC solid plus COG. This is the equation number 2. This reaction is essential in two aspects. The first aspect is to minimize loss of silicon in the form of SiO and thereby increase the silicon yield. Second aspect is, as SiO gas is an energy carrier in the process, it is important to sustain this compound in the process in order to have tolerable energy efficiency. That is, 90% of the energy is used to reduce SiO2 to SiO, and energy is sustained in the process by reaction number 2, and condensation is equal to 2SiO G is equal to silicon liquid plus SiO2 solid. My dear friends, just to interrupt you all, here I would like to emphasize on some special important aspect of Knowledge Galaxy. Here specialized subject wise coaching classes and topic wise doubts clearing are available. I am available for all of you to clear all your doubts and especially for diploma engineering, metallurgy and mechanical students, Indian Institute of Metals, that is IIM, part 1 and part 2, and competitive and recruitment exams for GATE, SAIL and various other government and private sector companies, metallurgical industries, working and aspiring professionals. Here I would like to emphasize that whatever queries and doubts you are having in your mind regarding any subject or topic of metallurgy or any other ferroalloys production, operation, maintenance, so you can contact me for getting your doubts cleared. I will try to provide you accurate knowledge and to the best possible extent at the very shortest period of time, so that you can gain your knowledge, clear all your doubts, so that you can grow in your career, whether it is academic career, whether it is professional career, and so that you can develop and grow. So to continue with, here complete syllabus coverage for the students aspiring to appear in the forthcoming semester exams, that is December or June, I will be providing you all. So please contact me on knowledgegalaxy26@gmail.com or WhatsApp me on +919907144101 for scheduling and organizing the classes or getting informations to clear your doubts via video conferencing, call or WhatsApp. My dear friends, you might have encountered that you might have been having many of the doubts regarding process, technology, why they are doing, why it is done, how it is done. So, and if you don't find any answer to them and nobody is there to guide you properly, so my dear friends, I am here available to guide you all, to make you know and grow, and so that you don't have any doubts related to your process, products, technology, syllabus, and I will make sure that all of your doubts get clarified and you know the topic and subject very well and completely. So again, let's move on.
Okay, now moving again first. The most acknowledged reactivity test for reduction materials in the production of ferrosilicon and silicon was developed by Tusek and Ranes. This test is called the Sintef reactivity test. The basis for the SIO reactivity test is that a gas mixture of 13.5% of SiO and 4.5% of CO is passed through a coke bed with argon as a carrier gas at a temperature of 1650 degrees Celsius. When the gas mixture comes in contact with the coke, more or less of the SiO will react with the coke to silicon carbide SiC according to the reaction number 2. The exit gas from the apparatus is passed through an infrared gas analyzer and the CO content in the off gas is recorded continuously as a measure of transformation. The SiO reactivity number is given as the amount of SiO gas that has passed through the coke bed unreacted before the CO content in the exit gas drops below 10%. The Sintef SiO reactivity test has recently been improved and automated. After more than 20 years of reactivity testing, it has been found that coals with apparently identical chemical composition and volatile matters can exhibit totally different properties in terms of SiO reactivity. This fact is also confirmed by industrial experience. Ranes and Gray investigated 8 different coals ranging in rank from high volatile bituminous, that is HVB,
R0 is equal to 0.66%, to medium volatile bituminous, that is MVB, R0 is equal to 1.35%. The most noticeable results were that the reactivity decreased with increasing rank and that the binder phase in the char of coke was more reactive than the filler phase. I am just repeating this sentence. The most noticeable results were that the reactivity decreased with increasing rank and that the binder phase in the char or coke was more reactive than the filler phase. Another method for testing the reactivity of carbonaceous materials is presented by Wyden. 9 cokes were tested in this apparatus and Wyden et al. Came to the conclusion that low volume, weight, high amount of binder phase and low amount of filler phase in the coke was beneficial for the SiO reactivity. By investigating reacted samples of fossil carbon materials, both Rames and Gray and Meyerhoff have identified a sharp borderline between reactive and unreactive carbon forms. Now let us discuss the coal samples which were analyzed and observed in this particular test work. In order to investigate how the microstructure in coals of different origin and rank influence the reactivity towards SiO, 3 run-of-mine, that is room, coal samples have been acquired for studies in this test work. First is Blue Gem Appalachian Basin, USA, it is of HVB category. Second one is Peak Downs Bowen Basin, Australia, it is of MVB category. And third is Statistic Upper Silesian Basin, Poland, it is also HVB category. The as received samples were air dried for 3 days before the samples were mixed and split using a rifle. To avoid any oxidation, the samples were stored in air-sealed containers. So for now, let us discuss the results which were obtained after the tests. So the most important properties of the carbonaceous materials in the production of silicon and ferrosilicon are: first, high reactivity, second, high conversion, and third is low amount of impurities. High reactivity and conversion are believed to depend on the pore size distribution of the material, which is affecting the effective diffusivity. The porosity of the char is a function of the composition of the coal and the carbonization condition. Thus, information on coal properties, carbonization procedure and analysis of the resulting chars are important. Silicon for use in the production of solar cells and electrical purposes demands a very low level of impurities. Now let us discuss the chemical properties of the coals. The run-of-mine, that is Rome coals, were sent to an externally accredited laboratory for proximate and ultimate analysis. The results are shown in the table which is shown, table 1, which is shown in the next slide. So this is the table 1 which shows the proximate and ultimate analysis of the run-of-mine coals and the main components in the ash. You can pause the video and observe different nomenclatures and values of this table. Okay, let's move on. Now let us discuss the petrographic analysis of the coals. During the petrographic analysis of the Rome coals, the constituents were only separated into the minerals believed to influence the reactivity the greatest. The petrographic constitutions for the Rome coals are shown in the table 2, which is shown in the next slide. So this is the table 2, which shows the petrographic constitution of the Rome coals. You can pause the video and observe the contents of this table for better understanding. Even though blue gem and strategic are of the same rank, there are large differences in the petrographic constitution. The sum of inertinides and mineral matter is less than 10% in blue gem, while the relative amount in strategic is 36%. The composition of the coals is one of the most important parameters deciding the properties of the resulting char. Scapino and Gray defines reactive minerals as vitrinite, litinite, and a varying percentage of the semi-fusinite depending on the origin of the coal. Reactive minerals will form the binder phase in the carbonized product, while inert minerals will be relatively unchanged during carbonization and make up the filler phase. The vitrinite reflectance was measured on polished pellets of the coal samples, and the results are presented in table 3, which is given in the next slide. So this is the table 3, which shows the vitrinite reflectance and V types of the coal samples. Gray and Devani claims that the carbon forms in the binder phase of the coke or char are based on the rank determined by the vitrinite reflectance. The classification of these carbon forms can be seen elsewhere. The original correlation between vitrinite reflectance and carbon forms in the resulting coke or char was based on mean max reflectance, while random reflectance was used to measure the coals selected for this work. There exist several correlations between random and mean max reflectance, and Price states that this relationship is given by the equation number 3. Komorek and Morga have tested 189 coal samples from the Upper Silesian Basin in Poland and have come to a relationship given in equation number 4. So this is R max is equal to 1.061 into R0. This is the equation number 3, and R max is equal to 1.090 into R0 minus 0.052. This is the equation number 4. These relationships should enable us to evaluate the carbon forms in the resulting char, even though a different basis for reporting the reflectance values is used. The vitrinite reflectance is the most acknowledged measure of rank and puts strategic and blue gem into the category as high volatile bituminous coals, while peak downs is grouped as a medium volatile bituminous coal. According to theory, the density of the components in bituminous coals increases in the order of litinite is less than vitrinite, and vitrinite is less than inertinite, and inertinite is less than mineral matters. So this is the ascending order: litinite, then vitrinite, then inertinite, then mineral matters. In all of the coal samples, it is evident that the mineral matter is increasing with higher specific density. There is also a clear trend that both vitrinite and leptinites are present to a larger extent in the lower density fractions. Cold macerals that are unchanged during carbonization are concentrated in the second highest density fraction. So this is the table 4 which gives the petrographic constitution of washed coals and yield of washing. As a supplement to the maceral analysis and the reductants measurements, Gray has proposed a non-maceral analysis. This analysis was developed in order to produce petrographic data that can be used in the utilization of coal. The non-maceral analysis includes important materials that are not included in a standard maceral analysis. Simply put, the non-maceral analysis divides the microstructures in coal into normal coal, pseudo-vitrinite, fines, oxidation, micro-glaciation, mineral matter, and miscellaneous. The relative amount of these microstructures will have an effect upon the utilization of coal, whether it is to be used for coke making or directly in the production of ferroalloys as a reduction material. The results from the non-maceral analysis are given in table 5. From table 5, it is evident that the strategic coal is relatively dull compared to blue gem and peak downs. This implies that the macerals are well mixed in the coal structure and might give an indication that it is hard to separate the macerals using a washing procedure. In addition, we also see that the peak downs coal contains a lot more fines than the other coals. This is an expected result as the amount of fines increases with the rank. If we compare the different density fractions, there is the expected concentration of the dull structure in peak downs and strategic, as well as an increase in the amount of fusinite and semi-fusinite with increasing density. The blue gem coal is actually showing the opposite trend. One reason for this is probably that the Appalachian coal contains a very low amount of fusinite and semi-fusinite. In addition, there might be less difference between the two lowest density fractions that are used to analyze blue gem compared to the two middle fractions for peak downs and strategic. All the coals show an increase in the amount of fines and minerals in the highest density fractions. So this is the table 5 which gives non-maceral analysis for the density fractions with high enough yields to make chalk. So now let us discuss about the carbonization. Based on the yield from the washing process, the fractions with sufficient amount of coal which are having more than 300 gram were carbonized using the Sintef procedure. In the subsequent figures that are presented, the density fractions are denoted as high density HD and low density LD for each of the coals or chars, referring to the two fractions with highest yield from table 4.
So now let us discuss the physical properties. The main physical properties of the carbonaceous material determining the reactivity towards SiO gas are porosity, pore size distribution, density, surface area and degree of crystallization. These properties have been examined by using image analysis, trichronometer, mercury intrusion and X-ray diffraction and are listed in table 6. So this is the table 6 which shows the physical properties of the charge. According to the IUPAC classification, pores with a diameter larger than 50 nanometer are macropores. As most of the pores measured in the consigned material are larger than 50 nanometer, we will use the pore size classification for cokes suggested by Price. So the coke size classification suggested by Price is as coarse pores is more than 20 micrometer. Second, macropores is 10 nanometers to 20 micrometers. Micropores are less than 10 nanometers, which are typically 0.5 nanometers. Coarse pores are created by gas bubbles trapped in the semi-coke as it is formed and are dependent upon cold properties like rank, type, size, fluidity and viscosity during the fluid phase and on carbonization parameters like heating rate, maximum temperature and atmosphere. The image analysis appear to be particularly well suited for measuring coarse pores and the pore size distributions for pores larger than 4 micrometer are given in figure 1b, which is shown in the later slides. The macropores generally denotes pores that are available to gases for diffusion into the carbonaceous structure and will thus be very important for the reactivity towards SiO gas and the effective diffusivity in the material. The pore size distributions for macropores are measured by mercury intrusion and are illustrated in figure 1a, which is shown in the later slide. Based on figure 1a, we can conclude that the two low-ranked coals both have a higher macroporosity than p-dons. The image analysis, however, shows the opposite trend for coarse pores, as it is believed that macroporosity contributes greater to the reactivity than coarse pores. The two low-ranked coals should, based on figure 1, show the highest reactivity towards SiO gas. Due to the preparation of the samples for image analysis, two types of pores are evaluated. Open pores, which are filled with fluorescent epoxy, and closed pores, which are not. The open pores will be green and the closed pores will be dark in the pictures for analysis. Especially the closed pores will be vulnerable to errors as flaws during preparation like relief and scratches also will appear dark. So these are the figures. This is figure 1, which shows the first pore size distribution. First is mercury intrusion. This is the first one, mercury intrusion. And second is the image analysis of open pores. This is the image analysis of open pores. I have just explained these two figures.
Now again explaining it in detail. Figure 1 reveals that the most of the coarse pores in all the charts appear in the range between 10 to 50 micrometer, while most of the macropores are in the range of zero point 0.1 to 5 micrometer. The area under the graphs will denote the total porosity. Caution should be made in directly comparing the porosity measurements from the different methods, as the values for porosity are reported in different units. Referring to table 6, the porosity from the image analysis, that is IA, is consistently lower than the results obtained with a pyranometer. The main reason for this is that pores less than 4 micrometer are not included in the IA, that is image analysis. One of the most interesting results from table 6 is the high specific surface area of the statistic chart, which is about twice the value of blue gem. This result may imply that there is more carbon available for reaction with SiO, which again can lead to a highly reactive material. It is believed that a high amount of pores and a high specific surface area are among the most important characteristics of the char related to a high reactivity towards SiO gas. I am again repeating this line. It is believed that a high amount of pores and a high specific surface area are among the most important characteristics of the char related to a high reactivity towards SiO gas. The X-ray results are consistent with theory, as the coal with highest rank has the lowest interlayer spacing and highest stack height, that is the most graphitic structure. An optical microscopic examination of coke or char displays microstructures and microtextures. The two are somewhat related. Microstructures consist of various configurations of coke walls and pores. So this is the table 7, which shows the results from coke petrography with binder phase, filler phase and miscellaneous. And this is the same table which is continued. Microtextures are the carbon forms that make up the walls. The microtextures in coke are primarily determined by the rank and type of coal used to produce the coke. The petrographic procedure for microtexture analysis consists of determining in polarized light the quantities of carbon forms that display different anisotropic domain sizes and shapes, ranging from optically isotropic to anisotropic. The standard test method for microscopically determination of volume percent of textural components in metallurgical coke is covered by an ASTM standard. These data can be used to predict coke strength and reactivity to CO2 and SiO. Based on the reflectance data given in table 3, we would expect the binder phase in the American and European coals to consist mainly of isotropic, incipient and circular domains, while
lenticular carbon forms should be dominant in the binder phase in the higher rank Australian coal. The results given in table 7 confirm these predictions. Former studies conclude that a high amount of binder phase and low degree of anisotropy is favorable in order to have a high reactivity towards SiO gas. Table 7 reveals that blue gem contains the highest amount of binder phase and that this phase is composed of carbon forms with relatively low degree of ordering. The European char has the most isotropic binder phase, but the amount of filler phase is the highest of the tested materials. The most striking observation from table 7 is the high amount of depositional carbon that is pyrolytic and spherulitic in the blue gem char. These carbons are created by escaping volatiles that crack and deposit on pore walls and the periphery of the particle. The strategic coal contains about the same amount of volatiles as the American coal, but it is believed that due to the dull structure of this coal, the volatile compounds have a greater possibility to escape the coal particle during heating, hence not creating the same amount of depositional carbons. So now let us discuss about the reactivity results. The output from the SIMTAP SiO reactivity test is a graph showing the relationship between the measured CO concentration at the outlet of the reactor and the time. Based on this graph, reactivity parameters can be calculated. Historically, the R10 reactivity measure has been reported. This parameter is a measure of the volume of SiO gas that escapes the reactor unreacted before the CO level drops below 10%. As it has been discovered that some of the CO gas will react with liquid silicon in the condensation chamber, according to equation 5, a corrected CO versus time profile has been suggested by Lindstedt et al. The equation is CO gas plus 2 silicon liquid. This gives SiC solid plus SiO gas. Equation number 5. The corrected CO versus time profile for the calcined coals are presented in figure 2. So this is the figure 2 which shows the corrected CO versus time profiles for the calcined coals. LD and HD are respectively the low density and high density fractions used for preparing the chars. Reactivity results given as traditional R10 values and the reactivity parameter based on the corrected curves R10 corrected can be seen in table 8. So this is the table 8 which gives the reactivity parameters based on the SIMTAP SiO reactivity test. The peak Downs coal is showing an exceptionally high reactivity and conversion with respect to its rank. An explanation for this behavior is that the Australian coal contains a lot of inherent clastic quartz in the coal structure. Based on the information given in table 1, more than 5% of the total weight of the Australian coal is silicon containing minerals. The major part of this amount is clastic quartz inclusions. As these inclusions are inherent, that is embedded in the coal structure, they are very hard to remove using a normal washing procedure. During the course of reaction, the temperature in the reactor reaches about 1650 degrees Celsius, which will cause the clastic quartz inclusions to react with the surrounding carbon. In his PhD thesis, Wick investigated the reaction between quartz and carbon, and the reaction has significant rates above 1400 degrees Celsius. The quartz will react with carbon according to equation number 6. So this is the equation number 6, which shows that SiO2 solid and liquid plus carbon solid, this gives SiO gas plus CO gas. This is the equation number 6. The SiO gas that is produced will successively react with the carbon matrix described by equation number 2. The local porosity in the material will also increase as the quartz inclusions are consumed. Figure 1 reveals that the peak Downs coal has the lowest amount of micropores of the 3 investigated coals. A petrographic examination of reacted samples of the material does, however, show that there are plenty of very small pores. Figure 3 illustrates the clastic quartz inclusions in the peak Downs coal, the carbon forms in the calcined material, and the pore structure in the reacted sample. The figure is presented in the next slide. So this is the figure 3, which shows the class figure A, B and C. These are the 3 figures, not a single one. These are different ones, A, B and C. So A is clastic quartz inclusions, droplets in the vitrinite matrix of the peak Downs coal, and B is carbon forms in the char, and C is the network of micropores in the reacted sample. Of the 3 investigated coal samples, the blue gem coal was believed to have the most beneficial properties for a high reactivity towards SiO due to its low rank and high amount of binder phase in the calcined coal. Even though the blue gem coal has a low R10 value, we can see from table 7 that both density fractions of the carbonized coal contain a very high amount of depositional carbon. Depositional carbon has a very dense structure and is believed to have a low reactivity. This type of carbon will most likely act as a seal for the reacting gases, as it is formed on the pores walls and on the particle edges. Blue gem and Stasic are coals of similar rank, but the reactivity tests show completely different results. Based on the amount of volatile matter, it was expected to see a comparable amount of depositional carbon in the two coals. The static coal does, however, contain far less depositional carbon than blue gem and still shows a lower reactivity towards SiO. The low reactivity of the polished coal can be explained by the high quantity of inert particles in the coal, thus leading to a substantially higher amount of filler phase in the calcined coal. The difference in reactivity of the two density fractions is also designated to the difference in the amount of binder phase in the coals, as can be seen from table 7. From table 4, we can also see that the low reactive macellars seem to concentrate in the 1.33 to 1.50 density fraction. So now we have reached to the conclusions. I hope whatever I am trying to explain you all is clear to you all, and if you are having any doubts, then I request you to first go through these conclusions. Based on farmer studies, the reactivity of carbon towards SiO gas should mainly depend on the rank of the coal and the distribution of binder and filler phase in the carbonized product. In this work, two coals of similar rank and one higher rank coal have been used. I hope you remember these. In order to have the same coal with different material composition, the coals were separated into different density fractions. The main conclusion is that no single parameter can predict the SiO reactivity. I am again repeating this line as this is very important. The main conclusion is that no single parameter can predict the SiO reactivity. It is, however, evident that a high amount of inert particles in the coal, that is, a high amount of filler phase in the calcined coal, will give a lower reactivity towards SiO. Based on the coal samples used in this work, it is hard to evaluate the rank parameter, as our high rank coal had a lot of inherent clastic quartz grains in the coal matrix. These inclusions will increase the reactivity and cause the carbon to react from the inside as well as with the SiO gas produced in the gas generator, thus giving a very high conversion. The petrographic examination of the calcined coals also proves that there is a lot of depositional carbon in the blue gem coal. The depositional carbon is believed to seal the pore walls and periphery of the grains, thus retarding the reaction towards SiO gas. The petrographic method used in this work are valuable tools to examine both coal, calcined material and reacted samples. Dear friends, I am providing you all the informations free of cost which are available in my YouTube channel. So do help me by watching all my videos. Do subscribe my channel. Regularly visit and repeatedly visit my channel. Do watch all my videos, contents, like the content, share with your friends, and so that I also get motivated from each one of you as you subscribe to my channel. I am very much thankful to all my subscribers who believe in me, have subscribed my channel and like my content. So to motivate me further, please do subscribe my channel, increase the subscriber count, share with your friends so that others can also gain the knowledge. And my dear friends, all if you subscribe my channel, this will motivate me to do further better. So I hope you like the content and found the video worth. So again request you to please don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel. Also remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of the new videos promptly. My dear friends, here if you want to advertise about your product, services or company or anything else for gaining popularity in my channel, so you can contact me so that I can put your content for advertisement in my videos, forthcoming videos. So it will be a good platform to advertise. So do contact me as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching this video till the end, and I am very much again thankful to all of you who helped me, who believe in me, and please do visit my channel regularly and repeatedly. Thank you very much again. See you in the next video. Thank you.